In my last video, I patched up some decently large holes in the trunk lid on my 86 Olds 442 by welding in some scrap sheet metal I had. After the plastic filler was dry, the next day I got right to work with the DA sander. So what I'm doing is just going around doing some final sanding. There was some little divots, you know, some left from the Bondo work, like here, and then over here there was a bunch of little pock marks, which was caused by the splatter from the flux core welding wire. You know, all these little pinholes. So I'm just going around filling them in with the glazing putty. Got this all sanded pretty smooth. And then the A-pillar is the last thing I was working on. So getting ready to do what's hopefully a final coat of primer. And then, you know, to do all the paint, you know, you're looking at a lot of paint work now. You're looking at this whole side, right? The roof, the trunk lid, and from this body line up, this part, all this down to the A-pillar. So I'm gonna have to clear out some space in the garage, and you know, because this time of year can't really depend on good weather, and also the trees and stuff. There'll be stuff flying all over, getting in the paint. So I got a few days of work coming up, the beginning of November, so that might be where I'll skip ahead to in the video when we do the final painting. So since I'm going to be painting this whole area, and on the other side too, these original window trims here, not in the greatest shape. The whatever this chrome plating is it's kind of coming apart here, and it's just generally not looking great. So I actually have another set of quarter windows, which I bought off a guy a couple of years back who was parting out some CUTLASS's. So in order to get these out, they come out from the inside. So I'm gonna have to take some of this stuff apart to get to it. This trim has to come out. I have to undo the seat belt bolt, and hopefully I don't have to take too many things apart, but I'm gonna start doing that now, getting ready for the paint work, which hopefully is gonna happen in the next couple of days. So I didn't take this all the way off because there's a screw that's behind the seat that's kind of hard to get to, and what I was able to do is I took out a screw here, there's one up here, the seat belt bolt of course, and one here, and then two down here, and then I was able to just peel this back enough where there's 4 studs. Maybe I'll show you on the other side. There's a lot of glare here. So there's 4 studs that come off of the window frame that hold it into the car. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And there's these 10mm nuts. So you back those off. There's this butyl tape, which is still gooey, that's holding the window in. So you can see it's moving a little bit. This is gonna have to be pushed out. I'm gonna wait until I get the car in the garage and I'm getting ready to paint. But I don't want to take the windows out while the car is still out in the driveway. You know, the cover's not really watertight, so hopefully, you know, get this out and then just clean up. I did order some new butyl tape from Amazon. It's supposed to be coming tomorrow, and then this will be good because then I don't even have to mask off this window, which, you know, inevitably you always get some paint on the edge of the rubber seal and it just doesn't look great. So get this out, clean this all up. So we're getting closer. So finally made it to my few days off of work where I'll have some more time to hopefully finish up this paint work on the CUTLASS. And I wasn't really planning on going this far, but since I'm taking out the windows now, the quarter windows, you know, I was gonna just tape around the mirror and the door handles and the lock and stuff, but I think I'm just gonna go ahead and take the door panel off so I can get the mirror off, and probably, yeah, we'll see about the door handle in this. If it's not too bad, I'll take it out, but otherwise tape it. Also wanted to lubricate the window, something I've always wanted to do. The window tracks, the door lock, you know, they need cleaning, lubrication. So hopefully I can get this off without breaking too many things. We'll see how it goes. Do time lapse to this. There's a clip inside the door holding the adjustment cable for the mirror. And I can see it very good. I just can't get my hand in there. Just looping out the lock mechanism right there. And then the whole latch further down. Just spraying it down with brake clean and some white Ultimate grease. So, not too surprising, a little rust behind there. Looks like some water was getting in behind the seal. A little bit in the corner. Nothing too crazy, so I'm just gonna wire wheel that and I guess put a little paint on it or something. But overall, not too bad. This is a disaster, but luckily the windows that I'm putting in are already pretty clean, so hopefully it won't be too bad. I think I'm almost done with the prep. Got these quarter windows all cleaned up. Got the 442 decal removed, sanded that. There was a little bit of peeling clear coat here, sanded that down. Mirror and all that off. I'm gonna leave these. I gotta draw the line somewhere. This is turning into a huge thing. I took the taillights out just so, you know, masking around them would have been tricky. Cleaned out all the dirt that was in here. And then I'm just going over everything I've been priming with 400 wet sand. Yeah, that there. 400 on the mirror. Got that all sanded down. Here. All this. And down to here. So now I'm just trying to decide how the best way is to clean this all up, and then it looks like tomorrow is going to be the painting day. Oh, also this trim piece that goes in between the trunk lid and the rear glass, got that all sanded down, cleaned up. So yeah, I'm gonna have to move all the cars around, clean up all the leaves and dust in the garage. So, you know, should be good to go. Hopefully by tomorrow afternoon, all the paintwork will be done. So, today's the big day. Really want to get this paintwork done. Getting a kind of a late start. It's 10 o'clock, but the weather's beautiful. Trees are really in full fall mode today. So, I got to move all these cars around. Thing has to move, and got to get the CUTLASS on this side of the garage. This darn pole is going to be in the way, but what are you going to do? I'm just going to have to work around it. So, start moving everything. Well, you know, there's a reason that I call this channel Nowhere Fast Garage. I am pretty darn slow. So almost 2 hours, actually more than 2 hours have passed, and just leaving the car sitting under this horrible tree, this oak tree. There was all kinds of little particles and things that fell out of the tree I had to clean off. So I wiped everything down with the mineral spirits, and now I've been just taping everything off, and boy, what a slow process. So still, you know, probably have at least another hour to go, maybe more, of taping, but you know. All right, so after another hour spent masking and taping, I think we're all good. And at this point, I'm wondering, why didn't I just paint the whole car? Because probably wouldn't have been that much more work. But we're going to stick to the plan. Okay, so I got the Harbor Freight cheap gun. I think I paid about $13 or $15. It might have even been on sale. I don't know. It was very inexpensive. It's HVLP. I've got it all set up. I just gotta clean. I'm gonna run some acetone through it. I'm also gonna use the acetone to thin the Rust-Oleum paint, which I have right over here. Oil-based gloss black. So the internet said for the Rust-Oleum paint to thin it with acetone, use a 4:3 ratio. So I put 8 ounces, a little bit more than 8 ounces of the paint, and then I've got, I'm gonna do 8 to 6. And then I also found this activator that I had. So I'm gonna put 1 or 2 capfuls of that. So I'm gonna pour this into here. I'm just going to use 1 capful because this stuff makes me nervous. I wasn't really planning on using it. Mix this up. All right, so I'm going to set up the time lapse, and away we go. first coat is done. Just taking a little break. Went down pretty good. I've never used this gun before, and I haven't painted a car with a spray gun like this in probably 20 years, so a little rusty at it. A little orange peely, nothing too bad. I didn't see any runs or drips so far, so that's good. I just had to play around with the settings on the gun and the pressure. So many adjustments, trying to get it to lay down nice and smooth. But I think 2 coats is probably going to do it. I think it'll be all right. Probably going to need some wet sanding. I plan on doing that anyway, so that was a little wet sanding, polishing. Should be pretty good. Probably should have done the whole car, because the areas that I didn't paint, like the hood and the passenger side, are not going to match, but maybe I'll do that at another time. The hood does need a little work. There's a little rust bubble on that too, so let's see what happens. Let it dry about 4 hours, and I'm just taking off the tape and the paper. Came out pretty good. I mean, definitely needs to be wet sanded. The roof might be the worst. There's a lot of like rough spots. I just could not get it to lay down smooth. I don't know how it looks in the camera, but in person it's very orange peely. At one point during the first coat, all of a sudden it was laying down really nice and smooth. And then it changed. Like, I don't know what the deal is. Everyone on the internet is always raving about this cheap Harbor Freight gun, but you know, I think I would have been better off using my 25-year-old generic gun that I had. I mean, I just feel like I had better results with that back then. And I didn't know anything. I didn't know what I was doing back then either. Just like I don't know what I'm doing right now, but that was a more expensive gun, and I don't know. But I don't think it's going to be too bad. I am going to get it out in the daylight and really see what it's like, and wet sand it and polish it, and I think it's going to look pretty good. I used pretty much the whole quart, so there should be plenty of paint on here. And all this is really doing now is exposing the areas of the car that aren't as nice. Like, need to polish this trim. The fried weather strip really stands out. And the hood, I'm gonna have to end up painting this hood too. I was just gonna polish it, but it's just not gonna look as nice as the rest now. We'll see. So here's a fun story. So the rear quarter glass that I bought like 2 years ago and just stuck in storage and never really looked at them. When I opened them today, to my bewilderment and surprise, I find I have 2 passenger side glasses, not a set for left and right like I thought I was buying. But like I said, 2 years ago, so there's really nothing I can do to complain about it now, so I'm just stuck. So I'm gonna have to reuse the driver's side crappy glass, which is kind of a bummer. So this is the butyl tape. It's 3/8 of an inch. I got it on Amazon. It was cheap. It was like $11 or something. So I just cleaned up the remaining bits of the old goo on this glass, put down a new perimeter, and I'm going to be putting this back in the car now, hopefully. I think the best way to get the old crud off is just to scrape it with a screwdriver. So we have a little problem here. This is one of the replacement glasses I had, and when I put it in, you know, it fits pretty good, but there's a gap right here and right here. No matter how hard I push on that, I can't get it to go flush. I don't know if this frame is bent or if there's something under here that is preventing it from fitting in all the way. So I'm gonna have to pop this one out, which I don't know if that butyl tape is gonna stick and make a huge mess. It probably will. I did put the original glass back in on the driver's side. The nuts are not in yet, but this one, you know, there's a slight gap, but it's consistent and it's better. And I'm just hoping when I put the nuts on, it'll pull it in the rest of the way, seal it up. This really bums me out because this one's in bad shape. This plating is really coming off. I was just hoping to have a nicer glass on here. Oh well, that's what happens. You don't check things. You can never assume anything. I pulled the window back out. It was a real nightmare. The butyl tape was a disaster getting it back out, even though it was only in there for 10 minutes. So I think this frame is just bent because even with this is in now with dry with no tape, it just doesn't want to close up that gap there. So I might just put the original window back in. Let's see how it looks. So I had to put the uglier quarter glass back in. The original ones are back in because one was bent and the other one was the wrong side. So at least it's fitting flush now. So far, put the tail lights, reverse lights back in, quarter glass, and the mirror. Still have some more to do. Still have some interior trim screws and the door panel. I guess I'll wrap up this video now because it's getting really long and I always forget. I always feel like, oh, I'm just going to throw in a little polishing, but I guess I could, but you know, I always forget that ends up being like a whole huge multi-day long process in itself. So thanks for watching my paint job video and see you next time.